Hello, my name is Ethan Borg, and I'm the president of Ethan Borg LLC. Today I'm going to discuss diseases from a Xi Wen perspective. Diseases, as we've previously discussed, are symptoms that arise in tissues because energy is imbalanced in those tissues. Diseases tend to be an aggregation of symptoms, because oftentimes a disease may have a single root, a single cause, but express itself in multiple tissues of the body. When that happens, the disease can manifest not just locally where the imbalance is originating, but can happen anywhere in the body. When you're talking about an ache or a pain, oftentimes the disease is located right in that general location. But if you're talking about aches and pains all over your body, then you know you're talking about a disease factor that is having an impact all over the body, but is not local to each individual ache or pain. So what we need to do with Xi Wen is we need to be able to identify what's diseased. If we don't know what's diseased from a Xi Wen model, it takes a lot longer to heal. And the reason it takes longer to heal is that you're relying just on what's called system theory. And I'm going to take a moment to discuss system versus unit theory. Western medicine only focuses on units of disease, the genes, the molecules, the pathways. Specific units that are imbalanced or diseased from a Western perspective can easily be treated. If you know what that factor is, you can create a countermeasure, and that countermeasure will go straight to that gene or that molecule or that pathway and have a huge, immediate, miraculous effect. The problem is twofold for unit theory. One is, if you don't know what the unit is that's causing the disease, you can't do diddly. So, for instance, with MS or allergies, Western medicine comes up with tools to deal with symptoms, like allergy meds might reduce inflammation, or MS patients might get steroids to clear the immediate symptoms of the exacerbations of the disease. But they don't know what the root cause is, and therefore they can't implement a satisfactory countermeasure. The disease isn't cured, it just continues along the way. And that's all chronic diseases are like that Western medicine hasn't found its magic bullet yet. And the problem is there may not be one magic bullet. It might be multiple ones. It may be that the tools that they're using are too small and too finite and need to be more global or have impacts on multiple molecules at the same time to have the result that they're looking for. Eastern medicine is based on system theory, in contrast to unit theory. Unit theory, you need to know the exact gene pathway or molecule, for instance. In system theory, you don't need to know any of that. All you need to know is what system is the problem located in. If the problem is located in the lungs, you need to know what systems are related to the lungs. It's not just the lungs themselves that impact the lungs. The kidneys also do, the heart as well. So if you know all the systems that are combined that create relationships among each other, you can impact the systems as a whole to have an impact on the units that are actually diseased. You treat the heart, and the lungs can get better on their own. The problem with system theory is that it takes time. Whereas the magic bullet of unit theory, you just go in, you know the unit that's diseased, you create the countermeasure, and boom, you can have symptoms start to go away immediately. With system theory, what you're doing is you're taking this house of cards and you're removing some of the cards, and the whole house is going to shift or change or fall. And as a result, it may be quick, but in all likelihood, it's going to take a long time to have a long-term benefit. On the positive side, system theory tends to cure diseases, whereas unit theory tends to just provide symptomatic relief. So, Xi Wen, we're not going to just fall into the trap of unit theory, and we're not going to fall into the trap of system theory. The trap of system theory is it takes forever. The trap of unit theory is that if you don't know the right root of the problem, that you can't have any impact at all. So what we do is we combine system and unit theory together. There are parts of Xi Wen that are treating entire systems, whether we're talking about the entire system of the body or a specific organ that has an impact on all its little subcomponents, or energy that aligns in a very specific segment of the body. There are all kinds of systems that we discuss as we go along with Xi Wen. And the more systems you know, the more ways you can interface with the disease and have an impact that is a cure. That's my perspective on things. Now, unit theory is amazing in how quickly it works, so we don't want to get rid of unit theory either. So with Xi Wen, we actually want to know what is that the tissue that's diseased. We want to know that fingerprint, that specific location in the body that is diseased, the root, if we can find it. If we can find the root cause of imbalance in the body, the root tissue that's imbalanced, we can have that miraculous, immediate benefit that unit theory provides. So, for instance, with a pain in the back, unfortunately with Xi Wen, things are not always what they seem. So let's say we have a pain in the back. It could be multiple different tissues that are involved. You might just assume, because we always say, oh, I have a back pain, it must be a muscle spasm. We make assumptions, but making assumptions is not helpful with Xi Wen. What's helpful is to break down all the possibilities, all the tissues that may be related. So with a back pain, it could be a muscle that is unhappy, it could be a tendon that's unhappy, it could be a ligament, it could be the vertebrae of the spine, it could be organs that have a strong relationship with the back, like the kidneys, or even the gallbladder can be related to back pain, or the liver, even the bladder. So if you can write down all the possibilities, and if you know the fingerprints of all these different tissues, you can just go through them one at a time to see if the energy in there is balanced or is imbalanced. Now, that is what people do in Xi Wen as you get to the apprentice level and further up. As a beginner, you don't need to know those details. All you do is you treat each tissue. So if you could break it down to 5 different tissues, it takes 30 seconds to treat a tissue, so you're talking about 150 seconds to cover your bases, which isn't a very long time at all. So with beginner theory, you just play the certain sound that treats the disease, that treats all energy, the center of all energy, which is called earth chi, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But essentially, you treat each tissue with that earth chi without doing anything. You don't move the tool. You just hold the tool near the sound tool, near the disease location. So if it's a back pain, it would be near the back. And you play the sound, and that's it. You wait 24 hours and see if you've made an impact. But in order to do that, you need to know the tissues that may be involved with your disease. So with Xi Wen as beginners, I always tell people, start with something very simple. Start with an ache or pain. Start with something that's very clear that it's local. A stomach pain, for instance, might be a good place to start. Instead of going for like the huge, complicated disease that probably brought you to this website, go for something that is going to provide the easiest problem to interface with that could have the quickest results. An ache or pain is probably the best. You treat that, you see that Xi Wen is actually, that these fingerprints really do resonate with those tissues, and then you're going to build your confidence in this medicine and start to learn more, because once you realize what you can do, that you have all these tissues of your body that you have complete, not control, but you can influence, it's almost like the body becomes the operating system, and you can hack into the system and make changes. I'm not saying you're going to become bionic man or bionic woman, but you will see that as we go along through life, all these problems start to manifest one thing after another as we start to age. The quality of our life starts to diminish as we get aches and pains, as we have sleep problems, as we get allergies or inflammations and swellings. And we can stop these. If you know the operating system of the body, you can go one at a time and deal with each issue and break it down into the tissues that are involved with that disease whether it's swelling or aches or pains, and you break it down, you treat each one, and slowly but surely you get better, and the quality of your life improves. Maybe it's not so slowly, maybe it's a dramatic shift for you. That's what's possible with Xi Wen. There's no disease, in my mind, there's no disease that we cannot influence, improve upon, and hopefully even cure.